Hello everybody, welcome back to the Cutting Room Floor. Today we're talking about Minecraft. So let's begin. Minecraft was a game released on November 18th, 2011, and was in development for around 2 years, beginning on May 17th, 2009, until its development release on November 18th, 2011. Now, the game was originally titled Cave Game before it became Minecraft, The Order of the Stone, but then the pretext of Order of the Stone was eventually dropped, and it became simply just Minecraft. Now, over the course of its 2 years of development, a lot of things were added and a lot of things were removed. There were practically constant updates to the series, so there were a lot of minor, small things that were added over time, things that didn't really matter all that much. So we're going to talk about the more major things in this video, because I don't have the time to talk about every little thing that was removed over the years. So one of the first things I'm going to talk about is the brick pyramids. Now, the brick pyramids are pyramids that would spawn randomly in ungenerated parts of chunks of land and went all the way up to the sky build limit, which was how far up you could build into the sky. And sometimes they would actually be cut off occasionally because they went up so high, but typically they would go all the way up and finish. And they were built in the style of the typical ancient Egypt pyramids. So think of those pyramids, but instead of being made out of limestone, they're made out of your typical red bricks. Now, these first appeared in February 2010, specifically on February 27th, 2010, and they lasted all the way up till March 27th, 2010, with the first version adding them being Java Edition Infidev 2100 to 227-1, and the version that removed them was Java Edition Infidev 2010-032-7. And these were only there, and this was only here for, of course, a very short amount of time. And during this time, it was the largest structure in Minecraft at the time, and was also the only way at the time you could obtain bricks. There was no way for a person to obtain bricks besides mining things, as they were not hollow on the inside, but rather completely filled. So you could get stacks upon stacks of bricks by mining these. So now, another thing from around this era was the human mob. Now, the human mob was the first ever mob to exist in Minecraft, going all the way back to the pre-classic days of Cave Game. All you had to do was press G, you would spawn them in, and they would run around, they would flail their arms and legs, and they had the exact same design as the series' main character, Steve. And that's all they would do. They would jump around, wave their arms and legs around, yeah, woohoo! And that was their whole thing. Now, after a few minutes, they would all despawn, but that's what they did. They didn't hurt anybody. They didn't really do anything. Now, of course, like I said, they lasted for actually a little while. They lasted from the pre-classic days into the classic time. It's classic, but were eventually removed in September of 2009 when the first survival test took place, which added survival into Minecraft. Though they were actually replaced by a few other passive NPC mobs, as all these other NPC mobs were only existed for a few days to a few weeks. None of them lasted as long as the original mob character, and they looked nothing like the modern Minecraft character, as they were looked to as their heads were much larger with very small bodies, and it looked like to be from a completely separate game. Now, the characters that were added in to replace Steve included Rana, one of the more well-known ones, Beast Boy from the series Teen Titans, and a version of Steve known as Black Steve. I am not joking. He was called Black Steve because, well, look at his skin color. And these were all eventually removed after a very short period of time. And so, both were, and now, of course, they're all gone now. And they're probably not going to come back anyways. Now, in the early days of Minecraft the Indev era, which was short for in development, there was a thing known as the starter house. When you were to create a world, you would spawn in a starter house. Now, originally, starter houses were made out of mossy cobblestone, and they contained a bunch of chests. Now, these chests included every single item in the game, and they included the max amount of an item you could have in a stack, as stacks have max amounts of the items you could have in it, of course, so you're going to get excessive. But each one of these chests were filled to the brim with every single item in a stack to the max number they could have in a stack. So you should just get everything in there. Now eventually all the items in the chest were removed. Then the chests were removed, and then they returned from being mostly cobblestone buildings to being wooden plank buildings. Now eventually, with one of the later updates, there was a bug that caused it so that it wouldn't spawn at all. But then later on in an update, during the first ever version of Infidev, it was officially removed. Though even beforehand you couldn't have gotten it, as like I said, a later bug from a later update caused it to completely disappear. But officially, the first version of Infidev completely removed it. Now, during the in development stage of Minecraft, a thing could be done where you could take a screenshot of your world and you would take it from an isometric view. So an isometric view isn't exactly top down; it's more kind of on an angle, really. So you would have gotten an angular view of your entire world. As at the time, the worlds were limited. Once the Infidev era began, this feature was completely removed, as it wouldn't really work as Infidev. We were called Infidev because it was infinite, as in the world became infinite. You just go on forever and ever and ever and ever and never find world border. And the problem with that is you can't really take a screenshot of your whole world if your world is meant to be infinite. So it doesn't really work out at all, really. Now, a little bit later on in Minecraft's history, there were, for a very short period of time, glass pillars that would appear. Now, the only reason why these existed publicly in the game was because when they were creating the strongholds for the game, the Eyes of Ender, which were meant to show you where the strongholds were, didn't actually lead to the strongholds. So the developers needed to have a marker to show where it was. So they made these extremely tall glass pillars using the glass blocks. And these were accidentally included in Java Edition Beta 1.9 pre-release 3. And these were only there for a short amount of time till the following update, which was Java Edition Beta 1.9 pre-release 4, where they were promptly removed from the game, as they weren't even meant to be there in the first place at all. And alongside that, there's also a variety of other different things that were removed over the years, or things that were meant to appear but didn't appear. Early on in the game's development, there were gears that could be placed onto walls. They could be placed on the walls, and walls only, and they would move, and the actual animations would move around and act like how gears were. It wasn't a singular gear, there were a singular gear, and the gears would move together. If you placed two together, they would move how gears work when we have two gears placed together. After a very short amount of time, the gears were also removed from Minecraft, and they have yet to reappear since. And in earlier versions of the game, also the player had a bunch of different health stats but these bunch of different health stats were also eventually removed after a short period of time. And there's been a wide variety of other things that during the game that have long been changed, such as the villages. The original villages stayed the same for a long time, so they were all completely overhauled with an update recently. And so the original villages are just all completely removed and can only be played in older versions, like the Legacy console editions, which is how I play it, because I own an Xbox One with the game pre-downloaded. Alongside that, the original Piglins have also been removed. The original Pigmen have also been removed, but were different ones. As we looked into, they're very different. The zombie Pigmen are decaying and rotting and have green stuff, as you can see the skull, while the replacements are fully formed and also wear full proper clothes and have kind of major. And those are also zombie Pigmen have also been are only playable in older versions of the game. Like I said, I can still play them because I own a legacy version of Minecraft on my Xbox One. Anyway, folks, that's all I gotta say for today's episode. Well, bye, have a nice time.